Yo, Lewis, what's going on?
Not much. Brad, I noticed you be posting pictures of your garden out there.
Okay.
Have it sauerkraut? No, excuse me.
What to say?
Uh you you have it at your garden.
Tomatoes,
Tomatoes,
cucumbers. Yeah.
cucumbers. Why you
Uh,
grow tomatoes?
well, because I like that's one of my favorite food. I actually made some fried green tomatoes today, but it's easy to throw on a salad. It's tomatoes are good for you. I can't just shoot off the benefits offhand, but
So you buy them at the store like that too?
normally yeah, I will. That's why when it's growing season, I try to grow a lot of them.
No, okay. What's the difference between you say the difference between the ones you grow, the ones you buy at the store?
I don't know. Of course, when people grow stuff, they think their stuff tastes better or
Well,
tastes
I asked
fresher.
you.
Well, I'm
What's
about
the
to I'm about to
difference?
get
You
there because I gotta preface my comments. To me, it does taste fresher. It tastes crisp. Like the tomatoes that I grow, you notice they don't last as long. Like if I get some store bought tomatoes, they almost last forever. It seems like they don't ever go bad, but that's just because they don't have the preservative sprayed on them, other chemicals. But
allegedly, how you know about that?
how do I know about what they put on tomato?
Preservative sprayed on. You don't read no books.
You're right, I don't, but I go off of experience. If I grow tomatoes and I pick them, as soon as I pick them, they start to go bad on me. Or what? Even if you leave them on the plant too long, they'll start to go bad. So,
All right. Well, this Friday, while I was in my leisure time, people,
mhm.
uh, I came across a YouTube and they started talking about tomatoes and
Okay.
the tasteless tomatoes, the kind of Brandon grows in his backyard.
So
Tasteless.
is it tasteless?
Huh?
Okay. All right, go ahead. I'm a follow. I'm following. I'm
Now,
almost
Brandon
with
don't,
you. I'm almost on board
Brandon, you don't
because
grow no tasteless in
I
your
don't grow no
backyard.
tasteless tomatoes, but they do taste different from the ones in the store. And I'm trying to look for the words to describe it. So I'm gonna follow what they say is tasteless and try to figure out what's
Well,
going on.
see, Brandon's his house, his tastes like must. All right.
And why is that? Because the stuff in the backyard.
Nah, that
What?
tomato must taste. That's what he tasted. And
But
that's a rare taste.
okay.
At the stores, they just taste like water is saline or something. That's my experience. A tomato tastes like a tomato. It had a little mustiola to it.
Organic, so a quote unquote organic one that you grow in the garden has a must taste. That's what you're saying.
No, well, you ever went to the store and smelled tomatoes? You ever smelled
I
tomatoes,
smell
Brandon?
better store bought ones. Yeah, they smell like plastic. I mean, it's not. I don't know. It don't give me that they just was grown
How
outside.
the ones smell it at your house, Brandon? And take that light off your head.
Wow, they taste wild. You get what I'm saying?
They taste wild. That's must. I said must, ain't it? Now you okay with saying the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it's must, but I like it's just a wild. It was a wilder experience. But go ahead. Well, I want to
Okay,
watch the
before
video
we
see what
start
they
this
say.
video,
Mhm.
what Brandon don't know, when you catch a wild animal, if
Uh
a person describe the taste, they be
uh-huh.
like compare a wild pig to a wild boar. They say one is more musky, and that'd be the
I get what
wild
you're
one.
saying. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Go
It's
ahead.
one of the fruits that has seen the largest drop in nutrients, a quarter of its calcium and more than half of its vitamins. In order to understand this decline, we must trace fruit and vegetables back to their origin. Before the fruit even grows, the seed determines everything. Tomato farmers choose their seeds from these brochures. They are published by manufacturers such as Syngenta, Vilmorin, or Close. To attract farmers, they mention their size, shape, color, and, in particular, their productivity.
Now you can stop it anytime you want to. All right,
Okay.
Brandon?
Yeah. But this is all making sense.
This all making sense?
It's all making sense.
So
But how do you feel about this? This is like I say, I'm kind of growing the same fake tomatoes. This is for like a fake tomato to me. This is like lab engineered version 346 tomato that we eating in the store. Well, how you feel about that?
Well, Brandon, they didn't say nothing. Only thing they said is the growers go to the man to buy the product.
Right. Right.
Now we know the man sell the product for a profit, so he's looking by any means necessary to make a profit off those seeds.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he said they grow by shape, they go by yield, they go by they advertise all the good stuff, so your farmers can buy these certain type of seeds.
Yeah.
But most importantly are the letters HF1, which signifies a first-generation hybrid. And that's how we get a hybrid. For example, let's take a plant that grows large but very pale tomatoes. We cross them with a plant whose tomatoes are red but too small. By combining these two varieties, we create what is called a hybrid, a plant that possesses both the genes of a large tomato and a bright red tomato.
Now, what kind of plants you got in your garden, Brandon? Hybrids? Or...
I've got a bunch of hybrids, but like I say, that's mainly what's out there now. It's all hybrid stuff. Even if if I'm growing it organically, it's still a hybrid.
So you got the one tomato with the small eye,
right? Because we want the tomatoes to be so perfect. We want them to perform fast and hold and be in great size. So they do all these engineering things with the genes. So now, like I said, we got mutant hybrid tomatoes.
No, these ain't mutant quite yet, people. They just have one plant busted on another plant in a control.
And is it kind of like grafting? Because I know people graft different fruit trees and stuff like that. Is it similar to that?
No. Grafting is you got a completely different plant and you putting a branch to grow another plant from a completely different plant. Nah, it's not that. This is cross-pollination.
Okay.
And for example, with grafting people, every apple you eat is the exact same apple because they graft all the apple plants.
So what do you mean?
If they didn't graft them, that every apple would taste different. So your grannies would taste like some panties. It tastes like she on the rag. It tastes like she got diabetes. But if you graft it, you could get the same flavor out of each apple.
Yeah,
I learned that last year.
Okay.
For 50 years, scientists from all over the world have been developing these hybridizations to create tomatoes that can withstand all sorts of bumps and bruises. You've heard of crash tests on cars. Here are crash test tomatoes. During the 1980s, these laboratory tomatoes flooded the market. But there is still one problem that no one has managed to work out. Tomatoes spoil very quickly. Until the day scientists invent the eternal tomato.
Now, Brandon, you said, and your dog said it too, that your tomatoes that you grow in your house decay very quickly.
Now, I get you. Yeah, you're right.
Compare it to the store bought.
Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
All right. He ain't listening to all this because he
I am listening. I'm trying to mute the dogs out, but I'm just saying.
Playing. Just let the dogs bark.
Was it my daughter's kid? Go ahead.
This miraculous tomato has been created in Israel. For 70 years, this country has revolutionized the farming industry. It has managed to grow fruit and vegetables in the middle of the desert.
Now, tell me this, people. If you're growing vegetables or fruits in the desert,
where it's not supposed to be, but go ahead.
Well, not supposed to be. What's in the food?
What you mean? What's in the food? What's in the fertilizer type? That's the plant food. What's in the plant food? Is that what you're saying,
Brother? If you got death outside and you growing some of the best tomatoes in the world, and tomatoes need a lot of water. How are you designing these fruits? That's all I got to say.
Yeah, you designing them, and in my opinion, like you're engineering them to be able to grow in environments that they're foreign to. So it's kind of like you using a cheat code, or like the Game Shark back in the day. You coding the tomatoes to do what you want them to do. in whatever environment they are in.
And Israel has to grow tomatoes like this because they surrounded by everybody who hate their guts.
So they can't do business with other countries, or
they only do one, the United States. You know, they say, hey, watch this. Hey, we got some intel. They got some nuclear plants down at the bottom. How much it costs to drop these bombs on their ass? This is America doing right now, Brandon.
Correct.
You're paying us to do the dirty work.
Yeah, for sure.
The Europeans had a problem with Yemen shooting at the damn cargo ships. All right. They didn't have no planes to get up in the air because they was giving all the planes to Ukraine. They called President Trump up. Hey man, we got these some guys in Yemen. They keep robbing all the boats. What the U.S. do, Brady?
Did they help them out? No.
Yeah, they helped them out. First, at least the plans do a Snapchat. All right. All right. After the plans was leased via Snapchat, they bombed the shit out of the Yemen guys to free up the shipway.
Okay. So go ahead.
Y'all didn't know that? The reason that people got bombed because they was harassing commerce.
They were interfering with people making money. Is that what you're trying to say?
Interfering with people making money. And the Europeans beg America to drop the bombs over there.
And why do we feel like we need to get into that? And the other thing with Iran?
I can't tell you, but if I could speculate, you watch my back, I'll watch your back. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
That's all I got to say.
We met one of the fathers of the modern tomato at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, the man who made this fruit practically immortal.
Good morning.
Morning.
Nice to see you.
Yes.
Hi. Good morning.
Chaim Rabinovich.
We go straight to the farm.
Yes.
At 79 years old, Professor Rabinovich continues to develop future hybrids.
This is a breeding greenhouse, so each plant is different. And I say, well, this plant, it looks stronger than this one, for instance, and definitely more than this one. We look for these differences in order to develop something which is better than the existing material.
The best tomatoes are those that are well adapted for commercial production, because although the researcher and his assistant may well be university lecturers, they also work for private corporations. Their research is currently funded by French seed company Vilmorin.
It's owned by them. I cannot give it to anybody else. This is exclusive.
See, the scientists work for the man. Y'all didn't know that?
Right. Yeah.
The nuclear bomb. Isaac was the genius. Isaac was a genius, man. Isaac Newton. No, what was the genius name?
Einstein.
Einstein. They hired the U.S. government hired his ass along with some other people, black people included too. Hired him. Man, we need to create a weapon that we drop this thing, it'll shake up the world.
Right.
The scientists create the weapon, thought they was doing something probably to create some energy for the whole world for free. Turns out, we need the heat. We need the heat to just be. It creates a chain reaction so big, nobody want to mess with us.
Gotcha.
And look at these scientists doing here. They scientists, brother.
Mm-hmm.
We need some tomatoes. What did they go say? What kind of tomatoes they need, Brandon? If you was a business, what kind of tomatoes you need?
I need tomatoes that's going to last a long time. They're going to get big quick.
All right.
Let's say they're going to taste the right way that we need them. We don't want bitter tasting tomatoes.
Oh, okay.
And one of the biggest things is, how something looks, like the appearance of the tomatoes. Like if you want tomatoes to look round and you want them to be perfect, you don't want odd shaped tomatoes. It just doesn't look appealing to Americans, for instance.
All right.
Exclusive to them.
You're the only one that got into this greenhouse. Besides you, no one can get it.
Mm-hmm.
They need to develop a tomato for southern European countries.
Here there is a big one, look.
Vilmorin are looking to have a winning hybrid in the Balkan market, which have a fruit size around 300 grams.
Tomatoes as big as grapefruits that must grow on horizontal vines.
This is the cluster which the flower are organized.
Usually the cluster has 3 dimensions. The fruit grows in every possible direction. People like today what we call fishbone cluster. From packing point of view, if you have 3 dimensions, it's very difficult to pack in a box. When you have a 2 dimension, you can put one on top of the other, and it's much easier.
To create this hybrid, they have to cross 2 plants by placing pollen from one plant onto the flower of another.
Here's the way you extract pollen.
You need to come to the open flower.
This is what we call artificial bee. Actually, you know what it is? It's an electric toothbrush. So we just remove the brown and put a hook on top of it. You can see at the bottom, you can see yellow dust.
And in 2 days, I will come with the pollen and I will make the pollination.
But pause it real quick.
How
Do you
many
think
crossings you make
this is
for to have
necessary?
one eye?
I mean, it clear. You think this stuff is necessary? I think it clearly is because it's a market for it, and it's a competitive market. Clearly, because they want to, I guess, have people out here trying to make better plans all the time, year after year after year. But do you think this is necessary?
Yes, he said they have a market that's ready for these tomatoes in Eastern Europe, and they just need the proper tomatoes to grow over there so they can sell that. So yes, they got to flood the market with these tomatoes. So it is necessary. If it wasn't necessary, only people do things that necessary is man in the metaverse right now. This channel, we ain't making no money, but we still doing it. So it ain't necessary. We still doing it, but you know, but they got to do it because it's a goal at the end.
But what is the goal? And do you think, are they doing anything to harm us by keep innovating the plant?
Brandon, they just using the human ability to domesticate animals and plants.
Okay, as long as they're not doing anything that's going to harm us, that's the only thing I'd be worried about. Because like I say, seeds, tomato seeds, we get them from the government in a way because they have control of, like, what's the biggest grower now? Like, all those seeds, it's all controlled. Like I say, they give it to the farmers give us what they give us, but all that's controlled by the government in a way. We can't get the old seeds like back years and years ago because they've already manipulated the seeds and stuff to what we have today.
Brandon, why would you want those old seeds? And with these new seeds, you could get 100 tomatoes. With the old ones, you could get 40. So why would you want those?
From a business standpoint, I get what they're saying, but as long as it's safe and they're not doing anything that's going to harm us, like I said, I'm not familiar with the process at all. So that's why I'm glad we're watching this video so I can learn more about it. Because, like I said, I'm skeptical from if I got a plant that's going to give me 40 tomatoes, but it's a better plant that's going to give me 140 tomatoes. I'm gonna want to go with the one that's going to yield more tomatoes. But as long as both of them are safe, I'm okay.
It's always a drawback. People, anything you think you have an advantage on the other side, it comes with negative drawbacks. And we're going to speak on that on this episode.
Really, at the end.
To make a commercial hybrid, probably 400.
400 like that.
400 every year. Sometimes it's coming only from the third year. So you can go to huge numbers.
That is how, after thousands of cross-pollinations in the early 1990s, Chaim Rabinovich and his colleagues invented the eternal tomato. This innovation has transformed the world market.
Why you begin to work on the long shelf life?
Because of this waste of 40% of the yield. Before this mutation, the limit was 2-3 days, 4 days at the most. When we exported tomatoes to Europe, and we exported a lot of tomatoes.
So you gotta remember the word, Brandon. This is in your mind. He said mutation. All right.
Yeah.
Just get that.
We used to fly it by airplanes because if it has to go by boat from Israel to Marseille, the tomato will be mushy. Nobody will touch it.
To extend its shelf life, the professor had to defy the laws of nature.
The purpose of this tomato is to disseminate the seed for next generation. So the moment the seeds are ripe, it will fall off the bush, bump into the ground, explode, and all this juice will run all over as far away from the mother plant as possible in order to conquer more territory. We don't want it. It's undesired trait for human beings. And here we have a mutation that seemingly can provide a solution.
What's that M word, Brandon? He just said
mutation.
Okay.
Here is the Israeli researchers' idea. They have cross-pollinated a plant with regular tomatoes that decay within 3 days, with a plant carrying a natural genetic defect that prevents the ripening of the fruit. They have thus ended up with a long-lasting hybrid tomato that once picked will decay much slower.
And that's why I call it a retarded. See, Brandon, now it's a couple ways you could do it.
Mhm.
He, as a scientist, he said, wow, this mutated plant has a positive effect that we want.
Yeah.
And he ran with it.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, for everything positive is a negative. What you think in your imagination? What could be a negative part of a mutation plant, Brandon?
I don't know. Like, one of the things I worry about, I'm not saying this is what it is, but it could cause cancer. It can like mess up your body, mess up your, that's one of the things I go with. I don't see a negative with this. That's what I'm trying to figure out where we going with
Wait,
that.
hold on. What you said you don't see a negative, Brent? You all right, Brent? You just named 3 negatives. Till you said you don't see a negative.
But the way he's doing it, it seems like it should be a natural way, right? They're just doing. They're not, as he's saying, mutation, right? But I don't see any mutation. I don't see any engineering. I just see a natural progression of a gardener manipulating a plant to yield more stuff.
So, Brandon, okay. All right, Brandon. If you got an antelope, a baby antelope born with a mutation, 3 legs.
Okay.
How long that antelope go last?
Not long.
All right. You got a lion born with a mutation, no teeth. how long would that lion gonna last?
Not too long.
Is that lion or antelope meant to be at the top, survival of the fittest?
The lion, yeah. And
no teeth?
Guess, well, no, not with no teeth.
Okay, how about
but it
the
didn't
antelope?
Start out that way. Yeah, but go ahead.
How about the antelope with 3 legs?
No, it wasn't supposed to.
So they don't supposed to be the top of their game.
No. Not if they were coming out that way.
All right, so what the scientist done with this mutation, he took a retarded plant that don't supposed to exist. It's supposed to die pretty quick. Now, one plant grows and dies, and that's it.
Yeah.
He said, nah, we're going to reproduce this over and over again.
Yeah.
And now everybody going to have this mutated plant.
Yeah.
That's why I think the negative comes into play. The word mutation. Mutation is negative, people.
Yeah.
A cancer.
When you're eating it, and putting it in your body, you don't necessarily want to have mutated stuff or all these chemicals in our body over and over every day.
Correct. I'm not a scientist, but they say cancer is when the cell mutates.
Mutates, right.
See, y'all didn't get that. Mutation. Y'all didn't link the two, but
that's exactly what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about these tomatoes that they can just produce all these different tomatoes. They last longer. Go ahead.
All right, let's stretch it, Brandon. You got hybrids that you could cross-pollinate.
Yeah,
Man be doing that for
which is fine.
Thousands of years.
Right.
That's called what I said earlier. That's called domesticating.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could get what man said, oh, this is a retarded plant. but I like that one part of it. Yeah. So I'm going to reproduce this retardedness in all the plants.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
So hybrid, I don't have no issue with hybrids if it's done the correct way.
Yeah, right.
We led our own homegrown experiment. On one side, we have a hybrid fruit with a perfect appearance. On the other side, an heirloom tomato that has not undergone any hybridization, with its speckled yellow skin and other small imperfections. Now, all we have to do is wait. After 3 days, the 2 tomatoes still look completely fine. But after a week, the heirloom tomato is no longer fit for sale because of these little black marks. Within 2 weeks, it even starts to go moldy. And what about the hybrid? Unaffected. In 2 weeks, it has not changed at all. Except for one thing, the stem comes off. It was only after day 25 that the hybrid became unsellable, now with mold and softer skin.
That's a whole month.
Without hybridization, it would have looked like this. Its shelf life has therefore gone from 3 days to almost 3 weeks. But just like any deal for eternal youth, there is a price to pay.
You can taste them.
Tasteless. The genes for inhibition, ripening inhibition.
Wait, which one did he say was tasteless?
with them
He said the hybrid was tasteless.
Yeah.
Mm.
Of
And
course
it-
it'll be tasteless.
And he thinks that's a good thing, though. That's what their goal is.
Brandon, Brandon, you talking confused on here.
I am, because I don't get what they're trying to do.
The goal is to make money. Who gives a fuck about taste when you can
I do.
produce more
I do.
product?
I love tomatoes. So
No,
I
you
wanna-
do. Who does the
I'm a
junkie?
consumer, right?
You know, you
That's
don't
like if
make no
I-
difference to y'all band together.
So you're saying people don't really care as long as it looks good and they know they got a tomato. It's not necessarily, most people don't really eat tomatoes by themselves. So they put it on a burger or they put it on a salad. So
We don't eat tomatoes by themselves because they went
I-
tasteless.
I
Brandon.
do know. I
No.
do. I'll slice up tomato, put some salt and pepper on it, and I'll eat them just like that. I just like tomatoes that much.
Store-bought tomatoes.
I won't necessarily do it with store-bought that much.
That's what
but
I'm
the
trying
one-
to say, Brandon.
Okay, but go ahead. But that's not what you want. Why?
Brandon, are you feeling good today?
I'm feeling great. Why? If he's not, is he a professor? He studied at the Hebrew
Scientist.
University of Jerusalem. They can't put no flavor in these tomatoes. They can do all this stuff. They can't make them. They can't do that. Put a little bit of flavor in his tomatoes.
Let's watch. I'm trying to explain to Brandon. I don't know. He must be on some drugs or something.
I told you I got a bad headache today, but I love tomatoes. But go ahead. I'll let you. Let's get to the end.
With everything, you got positive and negatives, Brandon. Brandon
That's a big
only
negative.
want. Brandon's only want all the positives. Positive.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Life don't work that way, Brandon.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
All right. All the women talk about they want to get thick. They gain in weight. The positive, they attract more attention. The negatives, they attract more cholesterol. You see what I'm saying?
And they attract more attention. I think they don't necessarily like that either, but that's a part of it. But go
No,
ahead.
they like that. They like it, bro. They like it. But
And then
yeah,
there'd be-
it's always two ends to the stick. Brandon's want one end.
If we doing all this research, come on now. So
It's
let me ask you this real quick. So if you had to choose, you want your tomato to have a little bit more flavor, or you want a little bad spot on it? Would you want your tomato to have a bad spot on it?
See, here's the thing. You can have both, Brandon, but here's the thing. Price. So if the tomatoes will only last 25%, 5%, no, only last a tenth of the time, they need to cost 90% more. So
I get what you're saying.
I can get the spotted tomatoes for instead of paying $1.99 a pound, I'm paying $9.99 a pound.
Right. It depends on where you at in life or your purpose. Like somebody may want the cheap flavorless tomatoes or the expensive gourmet tomatoes. It depends on what you trying to do. But go ahead.
Depend on the market. The market said, I want something that look like tomato. I don't care the taste, but the price and the quality got to be there. And we can give on the taste because we're going to cover that up anyway.
That's crazy.
That's what the market says. That's what Brandon wants.
What do I want? A tasteless tomato that looks good.
Cheap.
It tastes like water.
Tomatoes. And you say you buy them at the store all the time. And everyone
because I don't have no choice.
And you still buy them.
Yeah. But if I know somebody's doing some research and they putting time and energy in there, he don't care about that kind of stuff.
Brandon,
is it too expensive? Huh?
Brandon missed the whole thing. He works for a private organization that pays him. He said, even though I'm a scientist, I got to do what they want me to do.
No, you're right.
Even though I'm Einstein said we're going to generate free electricity for everybody in the world. We could turn that shit into a bomb.
Right. Right.
And that's what they do.
Yeah.
3
But,
weeks.
but for another example, if you want to do what you want to do at your job, can you do it? They pay you to do a certain thing. You can't just freelance and do the stuff you want to do. Whether
Correct.
you
I
believe
can't
in
do
it or
that.
not.
Yeah, I can't do that. Yeah, I gotta do what the person telling me. They paying the money, they rules.
Right.
You know,
Right.
don't be like that in your household because you'll be a bad man. But
What you mean? Go ahead. What you mean?
you know how some guys do. I pay the money, they rules. You know, they rules, I do what they rule.
Right. I got you.
But just like any deal for eternal youth, there is a price to pay.
You can taste them.
Now, brother, listen.
I'm about to get mad, but go ahead.
He said that this was brother wasn't clicking. That's why I think he must have had it coming in. He said for the longevity, there's a drawback.
Yeah,
He's about to explain it, and Brandon won't accept it because he's in
I
his
know. Okay, let me switch that real quick. So they made a honey bun. If honey buns didn't last long, but we got the honey bun, it's in a pack. And when you bite into it, it don't
It's like
taste
sex, sunshine. Huh?
Yeah, but if it's the opposite and it's flavorless or if it's tasteless, it's not the same. But if like I said, if the market is okay with it, people are okay with it, they don't care. That's what they're gonna give us.
Imagine making a fresh baked all butter using ghee, using tallow, fresh honey.
That's how I know Lewis know about food and cooking. But go ahead.
No, to make a pastry. And diced it with glaze and honey and powdered sugar.
Yeah.
It's only good for 2 days.
Yeah.
That 100 butter costs $15, Brandon. Can Keisha all periods afford that, Brandon?
No, they can't.
Or they can afford the $3
with a pack of 12.
A pack of 12. And when that get old, it get hard like a rock. and
we'll still eat it.
Yeah, right. It won't mold. It will never mold. Which one the consumer can afford, Brandon?
The one that won't mold. You can leave it out forever. It'll still look the same.
And it can last a week. It'll be good edible for a week.
Yeah.
Or you can have the best of the best. It lasts 2 days max.
Yeah.
It costs 10 times more.
And I got you.
But just like any deal for eternal youth, there is a price to pay.
Can taste them.
Tasteless. The genes for inhibition, ripening inhibition, carry with them some negative traits. For instance, flavor. The taste deteriorates.
And very well less nutrient, but
I don't know because we never measured it. Only later in the 90s.
See, and this is what companies do. He's a scientist.
Right.
They said, the tomatoes you putting together do not measure the nutritious values of them. Don't want to know that information.
Right. We don't want to know how big the flavor thing is, the metrics on that. We don't care. Just do what we ask you to do.
Well, he know about the flavor. He said to make them last longer, the flavor will go down.
Mm-hmm.
And they say do that. But don't worry about the nutritious values of it. Even though you know it's a test you can run, but they don't want you to run the test.
Yeah, don't run any of that kind of stuff.
That's called probability. You won't get no probable cause or no loose negligence on your side. You don't know nothing. If you don't know you got mold, you don't know you got mold or lead in the house to your test for it.
Right. No, you're right.
So
it might be sick.
No, we just trying to mold this motherfucker.
Right.
You want to test for lead? No, we ain't test for the lead.
Right. Because then you have to do something.
Well, then you got to expose that information. You may not have to do nothing, but you got to expose
You
it.
should, but yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s, we started looking into the quality traits. I offered a project like that to many seed companies. I even gave it a name. I called it ACE tomato. Why ACE? Vitamin A, C, and E. And I said it would be much healthier tomato.
They said they don't want it.
And they don't want that.
Tomato is one of the fruits that has
And they don't want that.
But I
All right,
get it.
Brandon.
What you about to
All
say?
right, what you about to say?
But I get it. But it does make sense. At least I know in his heart of hearts, he does actually want to make a better product. But he knows that's
Stand
not
up a little bit, Brandon.
he
I
knows
didn't
that's
see
not
just down.
he knows that's not. I know, right? See, I'm trying to figure out. You're knocking my head hurt. My equilibrium is off.
Brandon, I ain't lying to you, Brandon. Your thinking is different today, Brandon. Don't be around.
My head hurts so
Don't
bad.
be around no firearms and no high emotions.
I tell you, my head is hurting so bad today.
I like
I'm
Brandon
going on,
thinking. Brandon comprehension skills.
No, I get it. I'm just upset just because. Go ahead.
You don't get it on my side, Brandon. You drop about 30%. You about 30% dumber today.
I get what you're saying, and it's the same thing with the hot dog thing. How you say, Brandon, just get a person their money back. I get what you're saying though, but I think it's make for a better show if we argue the opposites more and we do that more. That's what I was thinking the other day. But no, I'm definitely off today. My head, it feel like I ain't gonna say I got a tumor or not, but my head is booming right now. I'm just glad I showed up. Like I said, I was getting ready to cancel. Let me you done? Let me do one thing.
I'm fine. Brandon
I'm
about 30% less slick or what you call where were that?
I couldn't even line myself up with the camera just now. But hold on, let me get this. Oh man. What you getting ready to do after this?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
I gotta get ready to go to work tomorrow.
Okay.
Why?
Just your nightly routine, what you do on
shit, man. You don't want to know. This would be boring. I got one of these boring lights, people. Yeah, life's so boring. I had to worry about paying my bills.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I say, sometimes it's easier having simple life. And my daughter's friend came back over. They was looking for the cell phone. Still can't find the cell phone. That's something that's been aggravating and stressing me out. And we were in
the backyard somewhere.
I've been looking, and we were saying we were going to give them a new one, but the mom was saying they got the newest cell phone.
So who's a we?
Me and my wife. We were going to get her a new cell phone.
She got that conning y'all, Brandon. She said,
if she was conning us, wouldn't she take it though? They didn't take it. She rather just let her daughter be grounded and just not have a cell phone.
When the next iPhone come out?
Probably September. They usually drop in September.
When they'll take the deal.
real quick. Let's do some basketball stuff because I saw this news today while we was getting ready to do our show. Kevin Durant's going to the Rockets now. And it made me think, now this will be his 15. Is that normal now? I think we talked about this one time before, like how many teams Russell Westbrook has been on, or James Harden. Kawhi, not so much. So is this the new norm? Is it just because the owners want to move players around like this, or do you think it has something to do with the players wanting to be moved around?
Well, hold on. Maybe Brandon, you said a statement, the big ticket. Who was that?
Kevin Garnett.
How many teams he played on? Since you the biggest fan.
Well, Kevin Garnett. No, I'm not the biggest Kevin Garnett. Timberwolves. I think he played on the Celtics, right? He won a championship on the Celtics, and he may have had one more team on the way out.
Timberwolves, Celtics. I think he played for Brooklyn too, ain't it?
I hope not. He might have.
Yeah, Brooklyn. That's 3. All right. How about Paul Pierce? How many teams he played for?
Paul Pierce been on a couple teams. He been on the Wizards.
He played for the Wizards.
Yeah, he played for the Wizards. I think that's
Wizards, Celtics, LA Clippers.
He played on the Clippers too.
He played for Boston. Did he go for Boston? No, No,
Yeah,
Brooklyn
he started
and
on
Brooklyn.
Boston. Let me. Also, Kevin Garnett only played for 2 teams. Well, let me look up Paul Pierce real quick.
Yeah,
Paul Pierce.
well, you had to look it up. I'm just.
Well, I'm curious
you
now.
probably-
I'm curious now, just to make sure he played. Oh yeah, Paul Pierce did play on the Clippers, Nets, Celtics. So he
How
played on
about
3.
Shaquille O'Neal? How many teams he
Woo.
paid for?
Man, I think Shaq played for a good. He played for Orlando, the Lakers. He
Orlando,
played for Dallas one
Lakers,
time.
Phoenix,
Yeah, Phoenix.
Cavaliers,
Yeah, he played for the Cavaliers.
Boston,
The Heat. He played for
the
Heat.
Heat. That's at least 16.
Yeah, 16. Oh
So,
man.
Brennan, so you ain't saying nothing new.
But I'm not trying to say something new, but as a player, because you know, people look at his legacy. They look at a player's legacy. They want to know where they range puts you. They can add you. You think Kevin Durant is top 25? Because
I don't know. I don't know.
I like Kevin Durant, but I don't think he can dominate, like be that leader on a team like that. Like when he won, he was with Golden State, just kind of being a piece. I think is he like Kobe?
He's the reason Golden State won.
He is, but he's a big piece on Golden State. But when he's on the other teams, is he that piece? Because you remember when he was in Phoenix, they were like, Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. That's all it's gonna take.
Man, the boys can't play, man. Watch this. The game over for people. The NBA. This was the NBA now.
Mm-hmm.
The Greek Freak.
Mm-hmm.
Trash.
But this is where I want you to go. Go ahead.
No, what's the guy for 76ers?
Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid. Trash.
Yeah.
Who's the star for the Boston Celtics? David Tatum?
Jason Tatum. Yeah.
Trash. How about let's go down to Memphis. Ja Morant. Trash.
Yeah.
Let's go down to New Orleans. Who's the guy?
Zion. That's the future. It's the future.
Trash.
He's supposed to be the next LeBron.
Tyler Hero.
So you wouldn't buy a Tyler Hero jersey.
Go down to the next one. What's the man for Los Angeles?
What? Not Kawhi Leonard or Paul Pierce? Paul George?
No, Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, Luka
Doncic.
That's
trash.
That's the next Larry Bird. Well, we ain't gonna say Larry Bird but do you think it's no more superstars? It's not gonna be those kind of superstars like a Kobe or a LeBron.
Brother. It's no identity left.
Yeah.
And
that's what I was gonna say. Is that why you don't watch the NBA? Because you haven't really watched it this year. I think the final Game 7 is tonight. You probably not gonna watch it.
I ain't not watch. I don't watch one highlight of the brand who man looked like Brandon playing for the Thunder.
SGA.
That's it. I don't watch this stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody's trash.
Yeah.
They don't have one person. They don't have one person. They don't got one person thinking they're gonna be the head. What's the Ant-Man? Trash. they all good.
Yeah. But do you think it's just because we're older? Like maybe somebody who's 20 or 17, they're like, no, you're just not watching NBA like that. Ant-Man is great. He's on the level where LeBron was when LeBron was his age. Like, we just don't understand the game.
I need a player to punch the clock every night.
They're not doing that no more.
Drop something meaningful every single night.
Right. Well, I think they're more concerned with fashion, and I was thinking this the other day. I think NBA players, they make so much money. I think in the 90s they wasn't really making crazy money like they're making now. So when you're making a lot of money, you're not pressed to be giving it your all. But if you making a decent living, sometimes you play better. You'll play better, or you just think it's just the generation. It's just a different game.
Brandon Shannon Sharp. This is a different sport. He made 70,000 in 1989. All right.
Okay.
I just started making 70,000 40 years later. I don't care. They had money back then, Brandon. They still had the fashion.
Yeah.
It just looked a little different. So Deion Sanders, they had no fashion.
Well, I'm not saying that. I get what you're saying.
365 suits all on Taylor made.
So you're saying it's basically the same thing. It's just the cost of living is higher. They're getting paid higher too. They're getting paid more.
Yeah,
So it kind of balanced out.
But back then they had to work for their money. Now they don't have to work so much.
Yeah. And it kind of hurts the product, in my opinion. Like I say, because players, you don't know if they're gonna play, they're gonna be injured. When we were watching basketball, it just seemed like it was less injuries, less people out. You know, is Kevin Durant gonna be injured this year coming up? Probably so. Do the Rockets know that? Yeah. Do they really care that much? Are they really trying to win a championship? No.
This man been getting hurt since 2008, Brandon. Was it? No. What it was?
Probably was he hurt on the Thunder? I'm trying to think. Did he probably was.
He was fine on the Thunder.
Uh-huh.
But that last season, with the Golden State,
I know he was hurt with Brooklyn. I think he was hurt for Golden State when they was trying to win that championship that year too. Yeah,
Brooklyn signed him why he was hurt, Brandon. He had a torn meniscus, whatever he had.
Yeah.
Brooklyn signed him just based on his height. They said, okay, he don't need no legs to play. He can shoot.
Right, he's good.
Man, the NBA, it's over. I'm out. I don't have nobody to watch, man.
Yeah.
I have nobody to watch. You can watch the boys with the man for the Indiana Pacers.
Halliburton.
You
like him?
Who?
You like Halliburton?
I kind of like him, Brennan. And they show clips of him doing the vine and stuff. No.
But that's that. Yeah. That's what all players are doing. Can you imagine if Jordan was doing some of that stuff? Like we saw videos like Jordan in the locker room doing dances and stuff with Scottie Pippen. You just don't look as menacing, and like I'm not worried about playing you. Like players used to fear Jordan. Like it was a stigma behind Jordan. Like we playing Jordan tonight. I gotta be on my A game. Halliburton, well, you see somebody doing dances and all this other stuff, you're not really intimidated by the other team. That's why the series can go either way, because Thunder, SGA, they be doing dances and that little TikTok stuff too.
Well, I'm talking about before the NBA, they was soft, Brandon.
Well, yeah, that too, yeah. You remember that Kentucky video with Anthony Davis? When I saw that, because I never saw that video till you showed me. I never saw Anthony Davis the same way again after that.
But see, here's the deal different with Anthony Davis. They had to hold him down to whip his ass.
Okay, but after I get
Halliburton was just dancing freely, Brandon.
I don't even think I've seen the video that you're talking about, but I don't even want to see it because it just made me look at these people in a different light. But like I said, that's the generation, the people underneath us, that's what they're doing now. They dancing, they dressing different. Like that's their whole thing. They might be a little sassy. And I don't even know whether, like, we're not saying it has anything to do with their sexuality, but that's what they're on. Like it's okay to rock your hips and gyrate, do all that kind of stuff. Like it's the same thing with the wide receivers.
Because 10 years ago, everybody was dancing online, and all these NBA players 10 years ago, they was 14 to 13. All right.
Right. Watch a Soldier Boy doing videos and stuff like that. So,
and then they come up here in the NBA finals, and you see a video for them 10 years ago. Be like, this is the guy we riding on. This is the person going to win the championship.
You did the Supermax to this guy. But, you know.
I can't do it. Yeah, Kevin Garnett, great player. Very most efficient player. One of the most efficient players ever. One weakness, he's brittle like a motherfucker. If you touch him, he can't play.
Right. What team you think he was the most deadly? Was it the Warriors?
The Warriors, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you had Klay Thompson, and this one, Klay Thompson was 60-40. He was 60% good, 40% bad. He was still, but he had defense.
Yeah.
You had Curry, 50-50 Curry, you know. Jamar Green was punching. Man, he was
punching. Punching and slamming.
Luka was the other guy.
Andre Iguodala. That's a solid team, yeah.
Yeah. Livingston was on the team. Was it?
Yeah,
Jonathan
Sean Livingston.
Man,
Sean Livingston, yeah.
this man had nothing to do except for shoot threes.
right. He didn't have to be a lockdown defender. He didn't have to motivate the team. He didn't have to do any of that kind of stuff. They were already.
He was still a good defender.
Yeah, he was still a good defender, but do they need him to lock down anybody?
Oh, nah. His arm is so long. He just do this, block up all the passing lanes. That's how he's a good defender.
Right.
Yeah. And he may if he had sit back, he may alter your shot a little bit because he's so tall.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry, Kevin Garnett. No,
Kevin Durant.
You go into the Rockets, and the Rockets hasn't been good since Robert Horry, man.
Yeah, okay. I was making sure. I was making sure you were gonna say James when they had James Harden when they first signed James Harden.
I had to go back.
Yeah.
James Harvey. Then you gotta say Tracy McGrady. Then you gotta say Yao Ming.
One day,
And then you gotta say Stephon Franchise.
Yeah, Stevie Franchise.
Yeah, I had to go back to they won a championship.
All right.
Yeah.
So should Rocket fans be excited, or is those other times you were saying that's the highlights? When you had Yao Ming, when you had Steve Francis, those were your better seasons to me. When you had Akeem Olajuwon. Those days are over for most teams anyway. But go ahead. What you want to say?
Rockets should be upset because right now they just purchased a 2016 Scat Pack in 2025.
Right, but you hyped today. You kind of hyped today. I think they traded. I think they traded Jalen Green for him too. So that was their future. So you got a flashy car. That you're gonna
no, keyword 2016.
I hear you. So what's gonna happen? Tell me what's gonna happen.
It's already ran through, brother. It was powerful back in the day.
Yeah,
but it ain't gonna hold up. It ain't gonna hold up 11 years later, brother.
Right. But they know that though. So what? Why would you make a move like this? Why should teams sign a James Harden or?
Because it's the Rockets. They don't know no better. They just in Texas. They got the money. They don't know no better. They ain't trying to win no championship, brother.
Yeah.
They ain't trying to. If you couldn't win one with James Harvey and Chris Paul, you ain't gonna win. Or James Harvey and what's the guy? Westbrook.
Right.
Or what other people they have with James Harvey? Just James Harvey
Kawhi
by
Leonard.
himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't gonna win one. And Phoenix, what? Just.
But like I say, most teams already know. Like, look, we're not gonna do anything with this person, with this team. You think they're in cahoots with other teams, saying, "Look, we're just gonna try to work together and make the best of it to try to boost the NBA," because I think all in all, the NBA may be on a decline this year, especially this year. I wasn't thrilled about the playoffs too much, but the finals, I don't know.
When you let the people on the screen control the game, this is what you get.
Yeah, we mean the league when they control the league.
Yeah, they the people on the screen control the league or the game. This is what you get.
Yeah.
You don't get no plantation action. Run them to the down.
But isn't that what we want? Isn't that what we want? We want the keys to certain industries and let us, show you how to really run it. Are you saying?
Okay, Brad, first of all, you don't got no keys, all right? I'm saying, I didn't say mean by keys, people. You don't got no keys, but you got
a little power. You got to say so.
It's a different environment. You could say, I'm not playing. You do that in the NBA. No, you do that in the NFL. They proven they will blackball you. They will come together, not hire you.
Yeah.
The second best quarterback in the damn college. First quarterback in college. Second prospect. 6th round draft pick. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They'll correct you, but over here is a little different.
Yeah, the NBA is not like the NFL for sure. But that's it. I was one. I
And
want
it's
to
awful.
because
I ain't
for some
watching none
reason,
of this shit.
yeah, for some reason, we know we love basketball, but it's just not what it used to be. And I don't know. I saw this move. I'm like, that. What is Kevin Durant going to the Rockets gonna do? So I don't know.
He should have just stayed at Phoenix.
But that's what I'm saying.
Okay, nah. See, Houston, you got them big booty hoes out there. That's where I know why he went out there.
Yeah. And I don't think this is gonna be his last team either. You think Kevin Durant has probably about 4 more seasons left in him?
Brandon, he'd be lucky he got 2, Brandon. Look
Okay,
at it. How many more teams you want on here, Brandon? You said 4 more seasons, so 4 more teams.
He gonna have at least 2. I think he'll do probably 1 more team because the Rockets is not gonna work, and he needs a farewell team. He gonna link up like how Shaq did, because towards the end, that's when he get real desperate. You want your last team to mean something. So he may try to go back to OKC or may try to go back to the Warriors, just something like that. I don't see him retiring as a Rocket. That don't even sound right.
The Warriors trash. OKC, he old enough to be the guy's daddy over there.
Yeah. And it happened so quick too, you know.
It's over. What he need to do, position himself as Ray Allen. Try to be a Ray Allen. You want to go in there and try to hit 4 shots a game.
Yeah, okay.
And sit and ride the bench.
But I don't think he wants to do that. I think some players, they're not coming off the bench. It was hard for Carmelo Anthony and Allen Iverson to come off the bench and be a role player. But it's okay to do when you're that old. Like, he's been in the league, 17 years at least, almost? Like, it's okay to be a... go ahead.
And you saw the tower element. We seen this before. You'd be the big dog. And then within 3 years, you go from big dog to you can't be on the G League.
Right.
Do he want this in his life if he want to play that role?
Yeah.
Commander Anthony. Yeah, using him as an example.
You didn't like how his career ended?
Brandon, he was try to be big dog too much.
Yeah, but if you've been, that's all you know your whole life, I think it's hard for people to realize, oh shoot, I'm not good anymore.
You see how it be getting
I
on
know,
that
and that's what I'm
false
about to say. I just realized it too.
Yeah,
but... oh my God, it's all good.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't got nothing else. But nah, Carmelo Anthony. This what happens when you get near the end. You bounce. This what happens. You use you up.
Yeah.
How many more squeezes for juice you still got in Kevin Durant?
Not much.
He's out of juice, Brennan.
It'll be good if they make the playoffs with the roster they got. Like, they probably got a good team, but I don't know. It take a lot to actually do something in the finals.
How can you make the playoffs? Brennan, he's that old. On new team.
It's Kevin Durant. It's one of the top players in the league.
Brandon, if LeBron James is struggling and he's a team builder, what this man gonna do?
That's a good question. Let me ask you this: who plays harder, Kevin Durant or LeBron James in the last season?
All seasons?
Yeah.
All seasons?
Well, no, just last season.
All seasons? LeBron James.
Okay. Well, what about last season? If you had to have a better defender, who would it be? It'd be Kevin Durant. You would go with Kevin Durant?
I didn't watch Kevin Durant play since he been since his first year, so I really couldn't tell you.
Yeah. And I think he was kind of checked out with Phoenix after they realized that the Devin Booker, Bradley Beal thing wasn't going to work. So it's hard to gauge how he was playing as an NBA player. But
see, here's the thing, NBA executives. The reason black women don't want to date a light-skinned man is the reason David Booker ain't gonna be no superstar.
And why is that? Tell me why.
Brandon, you know
I'm almost with you. I'm almost. Well, were you
Jason Tatum.
No,
was it Jason Tatum?
Jason Tatum, yeah. Boston Celtics, yeah.
If you're too light skinned, you can't be dumb. You can't be dominant.
What about Jalen Brunson? He's light skinned, play for the Knicks. Does he fall in the same category?
Brandon, I'm only 6'1". I can't even see the nigga. How tall is he? I didn't know who you was talking about.
He might be 6 foot, barely. So
I didn't know who you was talking about. You know, he ain't gonna do nothing. He didn't do nothing before he got traded.
But that's a good point. But let me ask you this too. All right, you know, it used to be a big thing buying NBA players sneakers, and that used to be. Is there any NBA current superstar? But I know you say they all trash. Sneaker that you would buy? Would you get Ant-Man shoes? Would you get Greek Freak shoes? Or who?
Ant-Man shoes, that probably comes with child support. I don't want none of those shoes. All right. Greek Freak, he can't speak English. All right. And every season he whining about something. I don't want no whiner. Who else? Who else you got, Brady?
Halliburton. I don't think he has any shoes. Yeah, Dame Lillard.
I ain't buying no TikTok shoes. He's a TikTok superstar.
Well, I think Luka has some. Luka signed with Jordan. So would you get some Luka Doncic shoes?
Luka?
Yeah.
Shit, Luka back up 10% off a 6-pack. Ain't buying his shoes come with a damn 6-pack. 6-pack ass shoes. No, I ain't buying that. What else you got?
Let me see. Ja Morant. Ja has some shoes. Yeah. I can't remember what they look like.
Ja Morant comes with a holster in his boots. I ain't buying that man's shoes. He talk all this. John Morant was on top of the world 4 years ago and fucked it up over TikTok.
And we knew it was coming. You can kind of tell the way he plays, he's gonna be injured. How radical he plays on and off. Well, not plays, but his actions. You can see his actions was gonna get him in trouble. And he really
$100 million. I remember $100 million.
Wait, because he lost an endorsement?
Because he did something and they did something to his contract. Cost him $100 million. I think it's an endorsement too.
Yeah.
For British weapon.
Right. He just had to do it. Yeah.
With 5 kids inside that damn hotel room.
Oh yeah, it was a hotel room or something, or a champagne room or something like that. Yeah.
Strip club. $100 million. And that $100 million. That location ain't never generate that in the lifetime since the Indians been here.
Like Memphis?
No, at the strip club.
Oh, the strip club. Okay.
That place ain't never generate $100 million. That part of land never in his lifetime.
Right. But
and you lost
for some reason, right. For some reason, somebody that's valued at that much money, that can generate that much money, would take himself all the way down to the bottom and be somewhere he don't really necessarily need to be. And like I say, it'll cost you in the end being places you're not supposed to be.
And he didn't do nothing wrong. That's the worst thing about it.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the right image.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was a white image. Yeah. I don't like none of these players no more.
That's crazy.
Who's a good
you do like SGA though? The dude from the Thunder, you like his game a little bit?
No, I don't like his game.
Is there anybody that in the new NBA that you like? You be like, okay, I Wemby. That's supposed to be another franchise player. San Antonio.
Hey, get your big ass to the blocks. I want no man 6'8", no 7'8" threes. Yeah.
I wonder how much he weighs, but like I said, he can't be. Well, is there a lot of centers that can keep him out the paint? No, but do a lot of players now they want to be on the 3-point line? Yeah. Joel Embiid is another one. He want to be out in the wing, shooting threes.
And I saw it today. I said, "This how much a buster he is."
What?
He got? Guess what his shoe company he's with, Brandon? Joel Embiid.
Let me guess. Puma? Is he with Puma?
Skechers. Of course he Man, this man was on a Skechers commercial today. I said, no wonder he stay hurt.
Is my camera frozen?
Yeah. Skechers.
How my camera gonna do that? But like I say, so he signed with the same company.
Kind of knocked off. All right, Brett. It's to the hour. You want to call it?
Yeah, we go ahead and call it. Thank you guys for watching. I don't know what happened to my camera, but we'll be back soon. Y'all have a good one.
All right.
Am I back?
Man, I saw this man in a Skechers commercial today, Brett.